Everybody, welcome to Grow Night, hosted by Planter and Indoor Garden Market.com. This is week 3 of our annual cycle. We started a little bit late this year, so we've only got 3 cycles. But generally, you would have 4 if you start with January, grow every 3 months, every quarter until the end of the year. It's the last yearly part of this cycle. So we are at week 3. This is transplanting seedlings indoors. So if you have been growing along with us, great. We'd love to see what you've got so far. Definitely share hashtag my indoor food garden. If you are growing at home, we watch those hashtags and we'll share it in our live streams anytime somebody wants to kind of broadcast what they're growing and the food that they're getting out of their indoor food garden space. So my name's Clift. I'm a local community grower here in the Northern Virginia / Washington, D.C. area. And I teach people how to grow food indoors year-round using LED grow lights, up to 75 pounds of greens, herbs, fruiting plants per year on average. In my experience, you can probably do better than that once you get going and really understand systems and processes. So this is all about transplanting seedlings. So 3 weeks ago, we started seedlings, and we're going to take a look at them in a second. Just to do a quick reminder, if you happen to be in my area and you can join one of our live events, check them out on our website, indoorgardenmarket.com. We pre-grow bundles of seedlings for you. So you can come to our event, pick up a 16 plant pack of either the Italian Chef's Mix or the Salad Lovers bundle, pair that with a hydroponic system or growing systems with LED lights indoors, grow year round. Super easy. So our bundles look something like this, just kind of give you a sense of it. Let me move my light up here so you can see it a little bit better. The seedlings are grown out at right about this stage. Now they can stay in this container a couple more weeks. Usually they'll just get bigger and fuller as they're getting more nutrients. But right around now, when you've got 2 or 3 leaves, you can start to transplant them over. When you get them into a hydroponic system, they really start to take off. So we're going to go through that process today using a couple of demonstration systems just so you get a sense of it. And keep in mind, we do have a free training program right up there. That QR code, if you give it a scan or if you drop a question in the chats and say, hey, I need help, I want to join the free training program, absolutely can. It involves monthly courses that are free. You can get digital classes. We have live consultation hours hosted every week to help you out if you've got any questions. There's tons of resources for you. Almost everything is free. We help you out with supplies, figuring out what to use. There's just a lot of amazing stuff that's going on. So let's jump into our transplanting process. Keep in mind, we started 3 weeks ago, approximately. So our seedlings are big enough now that they're going to be able to be transplanted over. So some things to watch out for when you are actually going to be doing this process. I'll bring up one of our seedlings again so that you can kind of get a sense of it. You'll know seedlings are ready to plant when you start to see the roots come out of the rock wool down here. Ideally, you'd want this a little bit fuller, but these are actually greens. And the cool thing about this is I have a couple plants here. So I can actually break these apart in smaller pieces, so maybe 1 or 2 plants each, depending on how I pull it apart, and then I'll drop it into my system. I've got an AeroGarden system here for demonstration purposes, planted out most of it already, so you don't have to watch me move through the whole process. You can see just the very end of it, and then we're going to jump over into soil transplanting as well. So right around this size, good to get them into a hydroponic system. They will jump up really quick, or a soil-based system. Keep in mind, we're using LED grow lights. So 50-watt approximate grow light for herbs and greens. And if you're going to grow fruiting plants, tomatoes, cucumbers, I recommend minimum of 100 watts. Although we've got lots of great resources on our website, including really efficient lights called Happy Leaf. Under the systems we recommend at indoorgardenmarket.com, those are 30-watt lights. They do great. Really amazing. You can't get more efficient and more powerful. They're similar to what some of the big hydroponic farms are using inside of their facilities. So you really can't do a better job than that. It's pretty amazing. Moving right along here, let's jump over into the soil demonstration for transplanting. So keep in mind, you've got your seedling bundle. Like if you came to our event, you take your seedling bundle home. You're gonna do either soil or hydroponics. Whatever you like. Each one is easy to do. We actually have kind of an easy demonstration here. This is our let pot self-watering pot. And if you're interested in learning more about those, they're super easy to grow with. Let me put up, where's my, not sure if I have that, QR codes. Yes, okay. So QR code up here, upper right, that's the Let Pot Gardens. This is a self-watering, self-contained pot. So the nice thing about this is this takes water. It's got a little reservoir at the bottom. You put stones inside this basket right here, and then you fill up your soil. And this is going to allow you to actually do self-watering indoors. So you don't have to worry quite so much about the specifics. Let me come down a little bit so you can see inside here. Might be hard to see. It's not an ideal setup, but we'll take a look. So I've got my seedlings here. You can see that they're grown out in the rock wall, and they're not as big as I would ideally like, but they work. So in order to get them planted, you just make a hole down inside your soil, put the soil over the top of it for both of these. Could probably squeeze in another one of these. Honestly, the herbs and the greens, they are really small. They have shallow roots, so they are fine. But so to start off with, now that I've got them in the soil, I'm just going to wet down this soil right here. Make sure that there's enough water in order to take advantage of the space. And keep in mind that when I fill this up, the water really only goes to approximately right here. So it will take a little bit of time for these roots to actually grow down into this other space down underneath. So I need to surface water at least at the beginning here, and that's going to allow me to get the roots to jump down. And eventually, once those roots get a little bit bigger, they're going to be down into my water reservoir at the bottom of this self-watering pot, and that's going to allow me to pretty much just put it on autopilot. I'll fill this self-watering container up, and then I'm going to add a little nutrients through the water in there as well. Makes it super easy. So that is the Let Pot self-watering pot. You don't have to use something like that. This is just a convenient one that I've used. I can fill this water system up. I can leave it. I've got a big light that goes over the top of it. I would keep it pretty low, like right about here to start with. Let it get lots of intense light, and then I would start to back it up as the plant got bigger. You don't have to fill the physical system up as much because these plants don't require as much soil. They just have shallower roots. Actually makes them ideal for hydroponic systems, as you'll see when we jump over into the aero garden. But you can use a cloth bag. A 3-gallon size cloth bag is perfectly fine for this. I like using these containers because they're really easy. They're easy to reset, and they self-water. So a great way to get going. If you wanted to check those out, they're at the QR code up there. Really easy. So thanks so much for joining us. If you're just popping in here, we are Indoor Garden Market. My name is Clift. Got lots of exciting things that we can help you out with. If you're just getting started with us, then I would recommend that you sign up for our free indoor food growing training program. That code is at the top right. I'm going to switch it out. So free training code right here. Just give that a scan, sign up. Very easy. If you were in a place, for example, Northern Virginia / DC area where we have live events, you can come out, see these systems, taste the greens. There's lots of great ways of getting involved. Start to join a community of indoor food growers who are growing 4 cycles of food per year in about the same size space as a coffee table. 2 cycles of cucumbers, tomatoes, things of that nature. We're actually going to highlight a watermelon that was grown indoors, a dwarf-sized watermelon towards the end as part of our community. So it's really exciting, really cool to do. If you want a quick start guide, we actually do have 2 easy options for you. First of all, we've got an easy setup guide. This is like step one, step two, step three, some recommended systems and ways of getting going. Really an easy way of getting started. Nothing, no fluff, nothing complex about it. You can learn to grow through videos like these. We have a free video training list. It's all on YouTube. We update it periodically as I produce new videos that I think are helpful. I will switch content out and we kind of keep the best content up there for you. Similar formatting, starts at the beginning of the quarter, works all the way through it, and you can just keep jumping in and getting more out of each of these cycles. So thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully you can get into this free training or check out that free video training playlist that's hosted on YouTube. Moving along here, let's jump over into hydroponics. So hydroponics, probably new to you. It's certainly new to a lot of different people out there. Lots of hydroponic systems out there. We've got a bunch on our Systems We Love section of indoorgardenmarket.com as well. And we're going to show the seedling process. So we've got, here's our seedling bundle. So maybe you pick this up at a live event. Maybe you pre-grew these yourselves, however you want to do that. Now we're going to move it over into a hydroponic system. So I've got one set up right here so you can see it. This is actually an arrow garden. Pretty simple, only hold 6 plants at a time. So I would recommend starting with greens and herbs. In here, don't try to put a tomato, even a dwarf or a dwarf-sized tomato or a dwarf cucumber. It's not going to work very well. These are really ideal for greens and herbs, which you'll see in a second. So it's got a built-in light and a built-in timer. The light itself is going to just work automatically. So you're going to be able to take, basically plug in the system. The time that you plug in the light, that's the time when the system is actually going to cycle on and off. So if you want to plug it in at 9 a.m., it will run for 12 hours or 14 hours approximately. And it's super easy to get started. You take your seedlings and change my angle a little bit here. Take your seedlings. Got a package of them. As you can see, I've planted these out already. I keep this week vacant and covered because it really doesn't make sense to plant this space out. There's not enough of horizontal space for the plants to grow out. So these plants will overcrowd or overshadow this plant right here. Ones on the outside edges typically can go out here, for example, out here. Those are okay. But the ones on the inside, you really can only fit one in this space. One of the downsides of these systems, although they grow 30% faster, and they're very low maintenance. So there's also a lot of upsides. Now, these seedlings right here, you'll notice that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them growing at a time. So that's pretty awesome. I want to try to figure out a way of actually splitting this apart so I can grab 1 or 2 of these and kind of keep them together. So I'm basically just going to kind of fold this one over and I'm going to plop it down into my little basket, push it down a little bit so it's got access to some nutrients. I'm going to take the second one and do something similar. So this, it's never 100%. You won't always get 100% of these to grow inside the space, but solid chance that you will. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if your system's really, really high, your plugs are going to be in the nutrients all the time. It can be a good idea to put a cover around that just keeps the light going on the plant itself. Otherwise, you might experience some algae growth. It doesn't really do anything to the plants. I've never had plants that really had any issues from it. If you do air circulation, things of that nature, you can help out that process. But generally speaking, that's pretty much, it doesn't make too big of a difference either way. It might look a little green, but the plant's going to grow fine and you're going to get good results anyways. So now that you've got all of your plants, you're going to adjust your light down like this. I'm going to block everything for a second here. I'll pull up the camera again. So it looks kind of like this. So really close to those seedlings. This system is now pretty much on autopilot. It's going to have a lot of the nutrients that we need. And the water is pretty much automatic. So it's a great little system to get started with if you've never grown before. Super powerful, almost no maintenance. If you are using nutrients that I use. You're just going to replace the nutrients one time per month. So pour them out and pour in a fresh gallon, or I mean, this is much less than a gallon actually. Pour in fresh nutrients, and you're going to be able to grow all the time without balancing pH or worrying about electrical conductivity and a lot of those other things that other systems would. So that's getting started with the hydroponic system. It took way longer than it normally does because I was talking through it, but as you can see, I'm talking to you, and it's very easy. You could do this when you're watching Netflix, catching up. It's a really great craft to do with the kids, the family, something you're going to do at least 4 times per year, depending on how often you cycle your plants out. And it really gets you pretty amazing results. So we'll take a quick break here, and I wanted to share that we've got our free training guide, which is that's actually the Let Pot Supplies. Let me switch back over to our free training guide so you've got access to it. If you're just joining us, free training up there. You can learn how to grow food year-round, 365 days a year in about the same size space as a coffee table, or smaller, like this system that you just saw right there. Very easy, cheaper than grocery. I'd highly recommend it. So moving right along here, a couple of common mistakes that you might see is overhandling or maybe damaging the roots of the seedlings. So for example, I'm probably close to that right now with these seedlings right here. Let's come a little bit closer. The seedlings, you're going to pull these apart, and so some of these blocks I had to pull them apart where it's a little bit. I'm handling these seedlings a little bit more than I would like. So just watch out for that. You want to be conscious about how you're planting them, for example, and not spacing them correctly. As was noted, you really want to make sure that you've got enough space between the plants, or if you're growing vertically, you can get a lot more. So you can grow things vertically really high and a lot in a small space versus in these smaller horizontal types of arrangements. Something to keep in mind. Over or under feeding after transplant. The soil, for sure, you want to keep it moist around the plant. That's critical. And hydroponics don't really need to worry about that. The nutrients are pretty fixed. They're going to be helpful for the plant pretty much right off the bat. And they're going to grow 30% quicker in the hydroponic system. So really easy to do. If you are just joining us, free training up there, and we do have a indoor food growing chatbot, or what we call our green thumb guide. It does allow you to basically chat using ChatGPT, and it's trained on indoor food growing techniques, technologies. It's going to be helpful for you. So it's pretty cool. Check it out right there. You just give it a scan. It's free. As long as you have a free ChatGPT account, you can get into it anytime. So please take advantage of it. It is there for your help. So thanks so much for joining us. You are planted. Like your garden is on its way. There's really not much else you need to do except to get ready to start harvesting in a week or two. And then we're going to go through the whole transition and everything else. So what to watch out for: once the plants get some true leaves, so some large leaves, you can begin to harvest. Hydroponic systems are going to grow really fast. Soil, it's going to be a bit slower, but you're going to get a lot of production out of these systems and a lot of these plants. Light adjustment: keep those lights low, as you noted in this system here. That works for soil just as it would for your hydroponic systems. Don't back it up, keep it low. Make sure those lights are very close to your garden. And we're going to talk about next week just a few updates on plant care, things like that. So let's take a minute and let's check in on our community. So we follow the hashtag #MyIndoorFoodGarden, and we're also following other people that are doing indoor food growing, generally speaking. So this is an account on Instagram called _gardening_indoors. Really love this one because they grew out an entire watermelon plant. So this is a dwarf size. It's pretty small, but she demonstrated how to find your male flowers and then use those to pollinate the female flowers. This is critical because we don't have bees indoors. Generally, we don't have bees. So you need to do that as you start to see these flowers forming. and you're going to get much better results over time. So there you see she's got a small watermelon there. Now she's growing vertically up a wall, so she's got to put together a little like a net or a bag, something to hold that watermelon in place on a hook, because otherwise the watermelon will get big. It will just rip right off the plant, and it will be prematurely picked essentially. So something to keep in mind. And I would say probably if you're looking for like the duration, about 3 months to get to the size where you're going to start to harvest from it. It's going to be a pretty big plant there, and you see that there's a vertical light right in front of it that it's using to grow from. So really interesting way to do this type of growing. Lots of different things you can grow if you are willing to take the time and set up a space to do it. It's very powerful. So this concludes our week 3. And so we, just a quick recap, we went through how to transplant your seedlings over into a hydroponic system or a soil-based system. It's very easy. You want to add lights at the end of it, keep those lights low. Next week, we're going to look at dialing in light schedules. We're going to talk about height, intensity, how airflow works to help you or slow down growing, depending on how you're doing it. We want to keep our indoor plants healthy, so we're going to look for ways to prevent mold, stress, legginess. And if you're just joining us, we've got a free training program right there on the upper right. Grow year-round, 365 days a year, up to 75 pounds of greens, herbs, and fruiting plants in a small size space, about the same size space as a coffee table. So it is really productive. And I'm going to throw up a couple other QR codes here just to get you started and help you out. For example, if you're just getting going, we've got a free garden setup guide. It's step by step, so it's going to take you step 1, step 2, step 3, give you different access to resources that we recommend for you to get going, and provide you with all of our socials so you can follow along with us, grow with us as we go through all of our cycles. Really fun and interesting. We also have an ongoing video training playlist on YouTube. You can go all the way through the whole cycle, start to finish, anytime you want. It's part of our free training program if you want reminders and more tips and tricks and special deals and all that stuff. But if you just want to jump in, you can do it anytime. If you see this video 3 weeks from now and you want to go back to the week 1 video and start on your own, you can do it anytime. So it's very, very easy. So keep that in mind. Just give that a scan. That's your video training playlist, and you are going to be able to start growing right away. If you haven't gotten your seeds yet, Seeds Now is a great resource for that. So give that a scan there. They have specialized seed packages for hydroponics, for example, for indoor growing. It's really easy to use, and we would definitely recommend it. So thanks so much for joining us. So long from Clift. I'm in Northern Virginia, the greater Washington, D.C. area. I hope to see you at one of our virtual events hosted online, or maybe one of our live events if you're local to the greater Washington, D.C. area. Definitely jump in and check us out for our next part of the quarter of the live indoor food growing training program hosted right here on YouTube, and we can't wait to see what you grow. Be sure to share pictures or videos, whatever you're growing, on any social channel with My Indoor Food Garden, hashtag My Indoor Food Garden, or you can @Indoor Garden Market, and we would love to share what you're growing so people can begin to understand just how powerful this technology is and how much you can grow in a small size space in a city at whatever time you want to grow.